What up, UFC T-Dot breakdowns? Please like and subscribe. Share? Maybe? Alright, we're here for the UFC on ESPN, Holms versus VIEIRA. This is going to be a very curtailed one. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm super busy. And so, that's why the video is so late, number one, and then number two, why this one's going to be short. I'm just going to get to the point on most of these fights. At least Reed KO'd Sam Hughes, TKO'd Sam Hughes in the third round. They're both really good. They're both up and coming. They both haven't yawned all day. And they're both, what's the word I'm looking for? They both have been on a rampage as of late, so it's interesting to have them fight. Chase Hooper got a TKO against Felipe Corrales. Like, he had him in this weird kind of leg triangle around his head thing, and he was landing elbows. I mean, even his even on the feet, Chase Hooper's striking is getting better. Like, clearly, like, the work he's doing with Wonder Boy is helping. Jonathan Martinez versus Vince Morales. These are both, like, they're both really good. Like, almost every time I see either one of these fighters, they're performing very well, and they had a really good fight. It went to decision. Jonathan Martinez won. I don't know if I would say either one of them was really better than the other, but I think Jonathan Martinez was just hitting much harder. Like, when he hit it, the impact of his hits, you know what I mean? Omar Morales got KO'd in the second round by Earl Middich. Middich is 8-1, lightweight. And then we had Parker Porter versus Jailton Alameda. Is that right? Alameda? Yeah. That Parker Porter has been on a tear lately. He's knocking people out and stuff. But Jailton, I mean, took him down and submitted him fast. First round. Joseph Holmes submitted Alan Amdovsky in the first round, too. That Joseph Holmes, man, he's an interesting guy. He's got a mustache like this. So I've always kind of like, excuse me, I'm always kind of paying attention to whatever he's got going on, because when he's fighting, I don't know, he's one of the guys I like to keep up with. I say that, but like, I keep up with everybody. So, Eric Anders and Park Jun-young, the Korean Turtle. If you go to the Korean War Museum, you can actually see those ships that he's named after. I think that's what it was. It was a good fight. They were going back and forth. They were both stunning the shit out of each other the whole fight. Park won in a decision. Next up, we had Tabitha Ricci versus Polyana Viana. So they win the... They're both very attractive women. And then that Tabitha Ricci has, like, no body fat. And it looks like she's sculpted. Like if a comic book artist was to draw a UFC fighter, that's the body that she would have. Like, I don't think there's any fat. Like, I don't know how she had this fight, because she has to be eating constantly because she has no body fat. Tabitha won by decision in round 3. I think this is another one of those fights that was kind of like with the judging, because so Tabitha was much better in the wrestling and the takedowns. She had a bunch of takedowns. Excuse me. She had a bunch of takedowns, and then but Polyana was definitely better on the feet, I think. I don't know. There was a lot of grappling, submission stuff too. It was a good fight, but Tabitha Ricci won. I mean, I don't feel like anyone got robbed. I just feel like I feel like there were a few different fights on this card where if a fighter was upset at the decision, it would be understandable. But I don't know if I felt like anybody got robbed. Chidi and Jaku. Oh my God, how do you say this dude's name? Chidi and Jakunai, right? Chidi got some power. Every time I see Chidi, he knocking somebody out. He knocked out Dusko Todorovic very fast in the first round. That Chidi got some power. Santiago, and this is the co-main event. Santiago Ponzinibbio. How can I yawn and say that name properly and mess up some of these other ones? Santiago Ponzinibbio and Michael Pereira. That Michael Pereira is becoming a real problem because he's like putting it together. He's fighting much more calculated and cerebrally, but he's also still got that crazy stuff in there. He's doing a better job of managing his gas tank. He's just getting really, really dangerous. He's a big guy. Like, people, he's putting it together. I really like what I'm seeing from him. This was a close fight too. I think. You know, I don't feel like anybody got robbed, but if Santiago was like, I won that fight, I couldn't be mad at him. And then for the main event, we had Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vieira. First of all, I'm not sure, like, what... There was a lot of, like... There was a lot of measuring... a lot of takedown attempts, but not a lot of actual takedowns. I mean, there were fights that were like, you know, I'm pretty sure there were fights that were stoppages that had more significant strikes than this main event did in 5 rounds and a decision. The decision went to Caitlin Vieira. I felt like Holly Holmes won. She controlled more when they were in the clinches and just, it was the fight she wanted to fight. It wasn't the fight Caitlin wanted to fight. And Holly Holmes looked good. I feel like she won the fight. She had one she had one head kick off of something that was really sweet. But yeah. It was an ESPN card. I mean, there weren't even any belts involved, you know what I mean? So these ones are kind of like, they're filler episodes, so to speak. Just, you know, these guys all need to fight. These guys and ladies all need to fight, right? They need to get paid. They need to fight. Excuse me. And they may not have reached the level where they're on the big pay-per-view yet, or they can't wait for that big pay-per-view. So it's like, well, cool, here's an event. You can get in on it. People get in on it. I'm not knocking them. There were a lot of good fights. Just... nothing that really stood out to me. The biggest moment of the fight for me was Chase Hooper. Like, that and Chidi's power, but no, Chase Hooper, like, beating a dude to a TK, like Chase Hooper? Go watch his other fights. He fights like a kitten. He says, oh. That's not nice. He doesn't fight like a kitten. He used to strike like a kitten. He doesn't fight like one. He was winning fights, like, still couldn't throw a punch, was winning fights, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, and he's like 12. Like, what do you, like, how are you in here with grown men? You can't, you can't fight at all. He can wrestle, he can submit people, sure. I mean, like, from a striking standpoint, like, you can't strike, you're 16 years old, you weigh 105 pounds, like, what are we doing here? But, you know, I really think he's starting to really develop. He's working with Wonder Boy, and I'm thinking that's what's going on with the striking being much better immediately. And with that, Jan, if you're still here, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I told you this was going to be short. This is short for me. All right? All right, y'all.